Hello, and as you can see, it's not the best weather for playing out and drive today. I was going to go and do a bit of the rust tidy up on this wheel arch on the Rover, which I've been putting off throughout the sunny weather. Based on previous videos, you might be considering this perfect weather for me to do paint and body work, but today I'm not going to. Now the Rover is still floating on big giant axle stands. I spoke to Gaz yesterday. The only thing they don't do in-house is the zinc coating on the bodies of the coilovers, and it's off being zinc coated right now, so it'll be back in a few days, but not yet. So this car is currently immobile. I'm not going to do any more videos on, well, I am going to do more videos on the Mercedes, but I'm not going to show you any more videos on the Mercedes until it actually starts. I'm fed up of doing a video where it nearly starts and then doesn't. The next time you see this, it will start, even if it takes like a month before you see another video of it, because I'm bored of, you know, just teasing that. I might do a clean up on it and fit the alternator, but that's a different video, not a getting it running video, because I want it to actually start the next time I do the engine on it. The Alpha, good old Alpha, is basically boxed in. It's actually my only running classic at the moment, with an MOT, no faults, all its wheels, and it can't go anywhere unless I physically tow this out of the way. But it's also retro on Sunday, so I'm going to need to get that out somehow, because technically it's kind of too new for Oso Retro, but they were introduced as a model long enough ago that can sneak in, so you know, we'll see you Oso Retro. So as it's raining, it's horrible. This car here, this long neglected Rover P6, this is not the tidiest of garages. It's got a dog cage on the bonnet and a spare door for the white car, which is going to get painted at some point, because I've been in and out of the garage doing stuff on the floor in the drive and taking stuff around to the lockup where the Minis and stuff, where the lockup where the white Rover is. There's a ton of junk on the floor. There's toolboxes, a battery, my jacks, everything. It's just blocking the way in. So yeah, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to try and do some work on his engine today. Okay, I'm going to bring these tools back inside and put them back in the toolbox. This is for an upcoming video about where the red Mini lives. That's the jack. You can only just squeeze into the door just there, because it's kind of large. This is something of an obstacle course at the moment. These are the wheels from the blue Rover. Come back to this. This is the back of the Alfa Romeo sign. When I cut a disc out, I should do a video on how I made that actually, because that wasn't a light up sign when I bought it. Engine crane, toolbox and bench. Finally, here we have the official Rover factory manual, set up for steering on the 2 litre. And here we have the timing cover for the V8 and the high capacity oil pump, which I'm now going to fit as today's project. First of all, I'll plug in the Alfa Romeo sign, chuck a bit more light in the room. Yeah, I'll do a video on how I made that one day when I've got nothing else to do in the winter. But that's going to happen, because this was just a bare sign. My job today is to make this, which is the timing cover from the V8 for the black Rover here behind me, have an oil pump again, which will be quite a novelty. It comes, oops, it attaches here on the bottom of the motor. Oops, just going to get the right way around. And the oil filter screws on just there. This sort of sits in the front of the car. Now the thing is, because I'm going up to 4.6 and this is a 3.5 timing cover and oil pump, what I've got here is a kit to fit a larger oil pump drive. So this is the original, this is the new oil pump drive, and this is the original. So I don't know if you can see that or not. It's about ½ centimetre more metal in these blades, which means it's going to be shifting more oil around the engine. Now, in order to do this, I need to fit an adapter plate between the engine and the oil pump, and that involves drilling 2 tiny holes and some shims and some other stuff. But first of all, because this has been sat a while and that was a bit corroded when I took this out, I'm going to give this a little bit of a clean up with some very fine paper and some WD-40 just to get its corrosion off the surface. That's a little bit manky. Right, let's find some stuff. Right, so during the first round of Popmaster, which I did quite well, I didn't keep score, but I did really well. There's Nirvana, Guns N' Roses, Van Halen's frontman, who was Dave Lee Roth. I've got that album, love that album. During that, I wasn't paying attention to the score, but did well, and I've just cleaned up this little kind of short stopper bolt, which will go into one of the things on here as well. I'll figure out which one it goes into in a second. I think it goes there actually. I can't torque these up yet because you need the thing to be bolted to something solid in order for it to torque. So I'm not going to torque that now. Now, I'll torque that when it's on the engine. Now I'm going to get gooey and grungy again. Let's get the GoPro running so I can do your cutaway shots. So many little bags and bits and pieces lying around here. Now this goes on here, this goes on here, and together they all go in there. But I'm going to go and put a bunch of oil on that before I do anything else, so it can move freely in the future. I shouldn't have moved it in there yet because I haven't put the oil on. But I'm going to give that another quick clean because that doesn't feel very clean to me. Yeah, that's a bit more satisfyingly clean. So I will now add some engine build oil, because this will probably sit for a few more weeks before I do anything with it. Goes everywhere as always. There we go, that's moving a bit more freely. Add a little dribble in there just to make sure it's all lubed up as much as it can be. There's a fly in here, it keeps buzzing the back of my head. Excellent, that's nice and slippery. And then insert the spring without cross-threading it, of course. So I wound up doing that with the radio on, because it's the second round of Popmaster, so you didn't see me just tighten that up with a 27mm socket. Next, it says move on to this bit. And this is where things get complicated, and interesting. And by interesting I mean stuff I'd rather not be doing. So first of all, we lay a gasket onto here, ideally the right way around. And then we add the spacer, again, ideally the right way around. We install the new gears and wrap the sheet shim around the gears as shown. Again, engine building oil on literally everything, just to make sure that it doesn't seize up and die. This shim does not want to fit in there. It might be easier to put the gasket and the and that one afterwards. There we go, if I wind that around there, haha. I'm some kind of genius, I tell you. I am no longer Wile E. Coyote super genius. This does not want to play. There we go. Just to tap that down level with the top of that. Okay, let's find the other wheel. My lovely new bit of metal. Metal! Oops. And the other shim. There we go. Super duper. I don't know how well you can see this, but that is now sitting proud of that. If I turn this, it's locked solid. Excellent, that's exactly what's meant to happen. You're meant to lock it solid. Let's try this without the shims in place. It turns nicely. Without the shims, it turns very nicely indeed. Excellent. Let's drop a bit more oil in there. And this will be packed with Vaseline in a minute. I just want to get this all lubed up a bit to start with. Let's try and keep these surfaces as clean as possible. Ideally an oily rag is exactly what we need for that. That's that shim. Let's try and get this shim in as well. Because these are counter-rotating, I can only use that little trick once. There we go, that just about slides in there. Okay, so we've got our shims on there. Let's give my fingers a quick blast of clean, because I don't really want to get oil on the gaskets. These are very different from side to side, so you do have to get this the right way around. Fourth time lucky, as they say. Great, and it says do not, well, make sure that nothing is proud of the spacer, and it all seems to be fitting pretty good. 1/4-20 by 5/8 bolts. I don't understand Imperial at all, that's just gobbledygook. I'm seriously, I'm in my 40s and this is just nonsense to me. Oh, fridge magnets. 1/4-20, I don't know what 1/4-20 means. They do supply quite a nice little selection of nuts and bolts, a couple of little metal dowels, and a drill bit for them as well. So what on earth is a 1/4 dash by 5/8? Is that 5/8? Install the two at opposite corners. Hang on, is there anything there's only two of? That'd be a sensible thing to ask. Oh, here we go. These must be 1/4 dash 20 because there's only two of them. And they go at opposite corners. This corner, this corner. Oh yeah, it seems to go into that corner. I know I deal with old cars a lot, but seriously, I'm much happier with metric because this Imperial is just very confusing. I just read what it says on the side and it means nothing to me. Remove the shim temporarily to make sure. Oh, with the shim, sorry, not the. I can't get the shim out now because it's down below the level of. Remove the shim temporarily. I don't know how I'm going to get back in again. Now I need to find a drill. Let's go and find a drill. And a 9/16 of an inch spanner so we can work out how deep 9/16 of an inch is. Now obviously there's nothing I enjoy more than drilling small holes near delicate bits of equipment that are vital to the running of my expensive engine. And nothing also I enjoy more than putting swarf in my must be utterly swarf free half assembled engine assembly. Today's a good day. It's kind of why I've been putting this off really. Now then, this is 7/16 of an inch, this socket, so 9/16 would be a fraction larger. So if I mark this drill bit as deep as this socket, then hopefully I won't go too deep. Let the fun commence. By fun I do of course mean not fun. I get my thumb over the thing to try and stop any swarf going into the oil way. That's a lot of swarf. Okay, one down. I'm just going to raise this little shim up a bit if I can to try and use it as more of a barrier to keep the swarf out of the engine. Deep breath again to keep blowing it away. Wow, so much swarf literally everywhere. Why did you make me do that, people? Why did you make me do that? Can't we just use like JB Weld or some kind of chemical metal to bond it rather than put a dowel in? Right, now I need to clean. Put more metal down into where I'm now going to be assembling the rest of the engine, which is on the floor below me. The frustration is growing. Let's put the drill away. So I'm trying to be orderly and neat and tidy and put stuff away as I'm finishing with it, so I'm not filling my entire workspace with more junk than is strictly necessary. It's not working well, but you know, it's a nice idea. Clean all this stuff up for it winds up into the engine. Oh dear me, not good at all. Coffee time. Cold coffee time. Now, the next step is install the two roll pins, making sure they do not protrude above the surface. If they do protrude above the surface, I've now got an issue, because they ain't coming out again. Shocking, just a bit of plastic in between, that'll do. There's always something you can improvise with. It's meant to be flush, and I think it kind of is. Remove the shims, finally. More swarf! Ah, swarf everywhere. Swarf was not the security officer in Star Trek The Next Generation, in case you are getting confused. That was Worf. Make it so. This is a bit of this job, not this particular shim removal part. This was one thing I was not looking forward to, but this whole oil pump assembly is something I really have been dreading, and that's kind of why this whole project has stalled for a bit, because, damn it, that's not good. If this goes wrong, and the oil pump doesn't work right, I will basically destroy an engine I've put a couple of £1,000 into for the sake of one misplaced, I don't know what, something somewhere. There we go. One removed shim. This should now turn freely. Yes, it does. Hooray! Make sure all components are clean and commence reassembly. Remove the quarter dash 20 by 5/8 bolt and pack the pump full of Vaseline, level with the end of the gears. Now I think what I'm going to do is actually do that the other way around. I'm going to do the pump packing with Vaseline first and keep everything in place. Suddenly I feel like David Freiberger packing grease into a wheel bearing, which I seem to do in every junkyard rescue. It's always a wheel bearing needs packing. Now, apparently this needs to be completely utterly stuffed so there's no air pockets, so when the engine turns for the first time it creates suction and draws oil through. It's also going to want an oil change after about 20 minutes. That took a lot more Vaseline than I expected. That's like half an entire tub there. So that's well and truly packed. Now, next step, it says, is to remove these things, which have now just become the greasiest bolts in the garage. Yuck, that's all oily, and that's all oily too, or oily and Vaseline-y, so it's very, well, petrol-y I suppose, isn't it? Okay, the battery just failed on the camera, so I had to quickly change it, so I don't know if I missed anything of that last little bit I was talking about. I'm now going to tighten up my bolts on there, so I've vague recap because I've no idea where this got to last time. These, it turns out, are 3/8 of an inch. I've got a 3/8 of an inch socket, too big for that, so I've spent some time searching for the adapter. I can now set this to 10, not newton meters, foot-pound. That's 9.5, so if I go halfway, 0.5, that should take us to 10 newton meters, right. Set this to do up. And then up some do. I'm going to leave this off for a minute because I don't know where that's gone. There must have been a shorter one in there originally, because this one here, it's not a case merely of putting this bolt in before you start doing anything else. It just is too long. Maybe I'll have to cut one down or something. But all these ones I'll crank down to 10. Let's just check this still turns before I tighten it too much. A little stiff. Oh yeah, well of course it's going to be stiff. It's full of stuff. But yeah, that was stiff, but it turned smoothly. So I guess it's full of Vaseline, so it's not going to turn very easily. Now that one last one, I will have to cut one of these down. It's the only way I can see of getting a bolt back in there. So if I work out how... No, that's not going to work. How on earth is that going to happen? If I cut this down short enough to be able to physically get through that gap, it's not going to be long enough to get its teeth into there. That's weird. Maybe that's why you put the extra things in, I don't know. But yes, we now have an oil pump with a large spacer fitted with a high capacity, high volume oil pump kit. This is interesting. I've got the instructions here. It's the AZ844 pre-SD1 timing cover only, and this is, I believe, an SD1 timing cover, even though it's fitted to my P6. So this can now go onto the front of the engine. We're making progress. This is one tiny step closer and one scary hurdle closer to getting this engine back together. I'll quickly take you under the bench to look at the V8 itself, but I'm pleased with this. That looks like it's been done properly-ish. If we take a quick scoop under the desk, this video has already run on too long, but this timing cover will fit over this nice new timing gear, timing chain, Crower, variable timing, yada 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 stuff. All the cool stuff that's making this a really good build, a high power, fast road engine that's going to make this P6 awesome very soon. Thanks for watching. I hope this wasn't too boring. Join me again next time and I'll either be building some more of this, trying to make the Mercedes work, trying to get the MOT on the Mini, trying to put the engine mounts into the white Rover and sort out the steering box, or putting the suspension back in the Tomcat. I've got a few bits and pieces to do at the moment. Wow. Thanks for joining me and I'll see you again soon.